Oh, the calendar design has changed? Or wait, I don't get it. So I have absolutely no idea what year we'd be in according to the old calendar. The closest approximation I can give you is that I'm somewhere in my early 600s. You're more than 600 years old? I ask him. Yes, that's what I said. Just said, Aiden says. Try to pay attention. How could you, Flower says, asks Aiden. Well, a tear flows from her eye. How could you kill all these people? What did the people of Omnar ever do to you? To me? Aiden says, nothing. But the people of Omnar were the first ones who started hunting animals as a sport. They are the sole reason for the whole war that has started between animals and humans. They need to be punished. Punished, Flower asks, as her eyes turned red with rage once more. They all needed to be punished, even the elderly, even the kids. Who gave you the right? He has the right of the strong, I suppose. Who gave you the right? If anyone's, it should have been Elia's decision to make, not yours. Oh right, the old fox. I'd almost forgotten why I came here in the first place. He turns to me. Barry, Eden says, did you know that the golden fox cast a tracking spell on all of you before you left the Lesheti ruins? A tracking spell, I asked. Why would she do that? I don't know, Eden says, but I'm suspecting that she must have taken an interest in you as well. He then starts moving his index fingers towards the air as if he's pushing some invisible buttons in front of him. After a while, a golden light starts shining brightly around us and a hologram of the fox appears in front of us soon afterwards. Aiden, Elias says. Aiden, is that you? Hello, old friend, Aiden says. Did you miss me? Aiden, what are you doing? The fox says. Stop this at once. The Stillwater pays her no mind. He then continues to fiddle around with her spells until he grabs onto what might be a golden string made of solid light. Aiden, Alea shouts. Aiden, don't you dare. Aiden smiles, waves at the fox as he pulls on the golden string. Both the lights surrounding us and the fox heads quickly disappear with a loud clinking noise. Was that it? I asked him, did you deactivate the spell? Yes, but the spell is set to reactivate itself as if the targets remain in the same area for too long, Aiden says. I believe I overheard you saying that you were headed towards the city of Thilius, were you not? Allow me to give you a ride to their destination free of charge. He snaps his fingers and suddenly feel my whole body compressing itself into a single point as all of my senses fade for one brief moment, and when I wake up, I find myself standing in front of a huge stone wall that seems to spread as far as the eye can see. Turn to Rose, who seems to have recovered from a violent cough, who is now measuring up the walls with her eyes. Rose, is this? I start to ask, but Rose answers me before I finish that question. Yes, she says. The city of Thilius, he wasn't lying. He really teleported us to our destination. I think the best decision at this point would be to, like, if Aiden is still there, to, like, hold our hands, like, in front of him and be like, please, I'll deliver your message. Calm down, please. I will do it. Seriously. Last time we didn't even get to see the Lesethi before we were knocked the fuck out. So, unfortunately. Rose, Darren shouts as he rushes towards us. Apparently, the paralysis effect has worn off because Kate and Haddock have also gotten up and are now slowly approaching us as well. Rose, are you alright? Darren says. Do you need healing? No, I'm fine. Rose says. I only got a big scare out of it, nothing serious. Araka, I say as I look towards Flower's amulet. Do you sense Aiden anywhere around us? Is he hiding invisibly again? No, he didn't teleport here with the rest of us, Araka says. Could you let us know if you ever sense Aiden hiding invisibly around us again? I say. Yeah, sure, no problem, Araka says. Really? I ask, surprised. Just like that. Just like that, Araka says. As long as I get to piss Aiden off, it's time well spent for me. So I'm guessing you and Aiden have a history then, I ask. Oh yeah, him and I go way back, Araka says. That's so, I say. Flower, Kate asks as she comes close. Are you okay? I'm fine. Flower says curtly as she wipes the tear from her face with the back of her hand. Do you need to talk, or Kate starts to say, but Flower interrupts her. I'm fine, Flower shouts. Oh yes, you definitely look fine to me. Maybe we should take a small break before we enter the city. She says she's fine, so let's leave her alone for now. I don't think it's a good idea to take a break. I think we should take a break before we enter the small city. But I think we should take a break. Maybe. But she says she's fine. That sounds like passive aggressive or something. She says she's fine. So let's just leave her alone for now. Let's take this one. We could do that, Rose says. I'm already days ahead of my schedule. A few more hours won't make much of a difference. You hear that, Flower? I say. We can just... Suddenly notice the girl moved away while I wasn't looking and that she's currently headed towards the city gates. Flower, wait up as I say as I catch up to her. Leave me alone, Flower says. Hey now, is there any way to talk to you there? You hear a city guard shout as he rushes towards us. What is your business here? Identify yourself. It's okay, Ralph. Rose says, smiling. They're with me. The guard approaches. I see a warning message in front of my eyes telling me not to hurt him because he's a local. I get the same message for one of the guard's colleagues who remain near the gates. Rose, thank the gods you're back. Ralph says, the whole oil drip situation has only gotten worse while you were gone. The entire Sparrow district has now been quarantined. The guards then look at each of us in turn. I'm guessing you folks are the ones that I should thank for bringing Rose back home safely. He says, you all have my greatest gratitude. Our town would not be the same without her. Is there anything I should know about before heading over to the Sparrows district, Ralph? Rose says, yeah. Ralph says, Nurse Martha said she needed to talk to you as soon as you come back. You should drop by her tent before doing anything else. Alright, Rose says, I'll be sure to go there as soon as I lead my new friends to my house. Then thanks for letting me know. After finishing our conversation with us, Ralph waved to his colleague. The latter then opened the city gate. Just like that? Like, what if you knew someone from the city, but they were like taken in a terrorist or something? What the hell? That's not exactly the best security there is. The latter then opened the city gates to let us through. As we entered the city, I was surprised to see that instead of luxurious manors and villas, we were greeted by a broken down wooden house and a stench that could even drive off a skunk. Most people on the streets were dressed in rags, and they were all looking at us with an uneasy look in their eyes as we passed them by. Naturally, every single one of them had a warning message floating above their head, telling me that I couldn't harm them. Forgive me for maybe coming off as ignorant, Rose. Darren says after we walk down the city street for a while, but aren't the towns of Arathia supposed to represent the peak of human civilization? They do, Rose says, but this is the beggars district. We enter through the eastern gate, but the nobles and the royalty mostly use the western gate when they come into the city. They rarely, if ever, set foot in this area. A town are divided according to amount of wealth each individual possesses. Darren says, yes. Darren says, isn't that the same on the other continents? Is it not the same? No, of course not, Darren says. That would only further increase the disparity between rich and the poor, cause unnecessary conflicts between them. Hold on. Isn't that everywhere? What are you talking about? I mean, I suppose there's nothing stopping us from entering a district where the rich lives. But there's nothing like the rich live separately from the poor, because the areas that rich live in, the property, the value of the land goes up really high, so only rich people can buy those lands. So rich people live in those areas and poor people live in other areas, and middle class people like us live in other areas. I can't just go and live in a place where the rich people live, because otherwise I will have to have that much money to buy the land and make a house on top of it. So I don't know what he's talking about. How is there like not a wealth disparity? That's always been there. Maybe their place don't have wealth disparity. Maybe Darren comes from a fucking communistic area, and they only have commie blocks instead of like divide between rich and poor. In Varathia, most of the poor people are too afraid to seek conflict with the nobles, because in doing that they'll only be encouraging their entire families. Their families, aren't there laws against this sort of thing? Your nobles are starting to sound less like nobles, more like a gang of thugs. Yeah, they do really. Rose says as she starts to look around anxiously. I wouldn't say those kind of things out loud if I were you. What are they going to do, I ask. Put me in jail for stating my opinion? Yes, actually, Rose says. You guys really live in a completely different world from us, don't you? So, what is it? What does Barry live in a modern world? Like a modern society? What is happening? Like a communistic modern society? What is it, from Soviet Russia, but like advanced? I don't quite get it. Interesting though. All of a sudden, Flower, who hasn't really spoken a word since we entered the city, gasped loudly and puts both her hands over her mouth. Oh god, she says, I completely forgot. Need to buy a new chain for Araka's amulet. Can you guys wait for me here? I'm pretty sure there was a shop that had what I wanted somewhere near the city gates. Well, hurry up then, Hardrick says. I won't want to spend more time here than is absolutely necessary. This place creeps me out. As Flower hurries off to the shop, Hardrick starts to look around for something to do while he waits. Hey Darren, Hardrick says. There's an armor shop right over there by the corner. Wanna come see what they've got? This might be the perfect opportunity for you to finally get rid of that ugly breastplate of yours. I'll pass, Darren says with the acid tone in his voice. Suit yourself, Hardrick says with a grin. He goes to enter the armor shop. You two don't really get along, do you? Kate asks Darren. I don't know what you're talking about, Darren says. Hardrick and I get along just fine. Yeah, that's how guys are. That's how guys are. We will fight, but bros be bros, right? Kate says. As we all stand there and wait, we suddenly hear a girl scream coming from our right. When we turn around, we see that a large man in his 50s currently brutally beating a 15-year-old girl in the middle of the street. Judging by his extravagant clothing and the jewelry around his neck, He would seem to be one of the local nobles, or maybe even royalty. I don't think we can stop them because we can't attack them. Um, the girl is, I mean, I don't know how wide that is. If you hold them back or like deflect their strikes, is that considered tracking? Is parrying considered attacking? I don't know. The girl is dressed in rag, but not the sort of rags that would have been worn by the people we've seen so far in the beggars district. These clothes of her look much more worn down. I'm guessing they're slaves. It doesn't appear like there's been any effort put into making them look aesthetically pleasing even when they were new, leaving her clothes aside. But it's really strange that here is that the girl doesn't seem to offer any sort of resistance while she is being beaten. She does not raise her hands to defend herself. She does not try to run. And she is not calling for help. What's more, the people on the streets are simply passing them by and ignoring them as if nothing was happening. What the hell is wrong with everyone? Darren says. They're all acting like this is perfectly normal. I can't just stand around here and watch things go on like this. I'm going to teach that fat bastard a lesson he'll never forget. Darren, wait, Rose says as she grabs him by the arm. You can't. The man is related to one of the kings of Arathia, and that girl is his slave. She is his rightful property. She's his what? Did you really think that there were no slavery going on? Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Where does he come from? I mean, even if he came from Soviet times, like a communistic countries, you must have seen gulags or something. Seriously, this is just awkward, honestly, at this point. Now, whatever. She's his what? Darren says as his eyes darken. Kate hesitates for a second when she sees the look in his eyes. That girl is a slave, Rose continues. She doesn't have any rights or freedoms. That man is legally entitled to use her in any way he wishes and to dispose of her whenever he sees fit. Then just stands there, looks at Rose for a few seconds as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. You're saying this is normal, Darren says, as her furious. Treating another person like this, like they're nothing more than an object. You find this normal, Rose? Rose opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out of her for a few seconds. Regardless of whether I'm finding any of this normal or not, Rose says with a shaky voice, the fact remains that the tournament rules still prohibit you from attacking any of the locals. You saw what happened to that mage who tried to attack me in the forest. You just get teleported out of here before you even get the chance to do anything. Then clenches his fist as his hands start shaking with rage, but he unable to come up with a proper retort. Instead, he decides to turn his head away from her and to continue watching the gruesome scene that was unraveling before our eyes. I'm sorry, the girl says as the man beats her mercilessly. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't ask for your apologies, you little wench, the man says as he looks at her now swollen face with disgust. I asked for you to be useful. How am I supposed to expect anything from you if you can't even carry a few bags? Now that you mention it, I realize that there are at least 10 bags full of clothes and groceries lying on the ground next to the girl. They must weigh a ton. Wait, hold on. Why is he buying clothes? And I mean, I can understand if he was buying clothes. Why is he buying groceries? And even if he was buying clothes, like, why is he buying them in the beggars district? That's just weird. Sir, please, the girl begs on her knees. Barely got to sleep at all while I was at the slave market, and I haven't even rested for 1 minute since you brought me in this morning. If only you'd give me a few hours to regain my strength. The noble grabs the girl by her hair and lifts her head in order to look her straight in the eye. You're saying it's my fault that you're so useless, he says. Is that it? No, sir, the girl says, terrified. I would never. Maybe I should just gut you right here and now and find me a proper slave, the man says. One that can carry a few bags, one that doesn't talk back. After all, I only paid 10 silver for you. That's practically pocket change for me. No, please, the girl says, now starting to cry. I promise I won't talk back anymore. I promise I'll be good. Just give me another chance. You see now, Darren? We hear Aiden's voice coming from behind us. Why did Araka not warn us? What the hell? You, Darren says, unable to contain his fury as he sees Aiden's face. You see the true face of humanity that you're desperately trying to protect, Aiden says. Take a look around you. None of these people passing by could easily overpower that clown and save the girl. But they won't do it. Some of them would tell you that they're just obeying the law. Others would have you believe that they're only doing it to protect their family. But we all know what the real reason is. They're ignoring her because it's convenient, because it's easier to lie to themselves and carry on with their lives than to face reality. Trying to give some meaning to their miserable existences. Upon hearing Aiden's words, Rose lowers her head and she starts staring at the ground in silence. You're not like them, are you, Darren? Aiden says. I'm sure you could have saved, you would have jumped to save that poor girl in an instant, were it not for the tournament spell protecting the noble. Shut up, Darren says. It's quite a pity, isn't it? Aiden says. I'm enjoying this, I don't know why. I should feel bad or something, but I'm just enjoying this conversation. It's quite a pity, isn't it? Darren says. The fact that you're forced to stand here and do nothing because of one meager smell. Eden says, what if I were to tell you, Darren, that I had a way to circumvent that spell? Oh, mother of God, he's gonna get us in trouble. He says, I'd say that you're out of your mind. Darren says. Aiden laughs. You don't have to take my word for it. It says, once I give you the power, you'll know that it is true. All you need to do is ask. Ask me for power, Darren. I will give it to you without asking for anything in return. You must have gone completely insane if you're actually thinking that I'd ever consider asking you for a favor. Darren says, oh, Aiden says, then I suppose that you're content in leaving that girl to her fate while you walk away like all the others. Darren clenches his fist and bites his lip, but he doesn't say anything. Ask Eren to give me the power and says so I can save the girl. How would I even beat that guy? Shoot him with a crossbow? That would just kill him. What the hell? That would be stupid. And I'm pretty sure the locals can still attack us.